Hello, Luke here with Laser Ammo, and this video is going to cover the brand new OpenRange 2.0 and what's different between version 1 and version 2. So let's dive right into the computer. The first thing is that we chose to make the OpenRange 2.0 installer different from the version 1, or install separately, I should say. So you can end up with both versions on your computer if you already had version 1 on there. And we did that because it's kind of a far departure from version 1, and we didn't want anybody to get stuck not knowing how to use, or maybe they have custom courses they need to import into version 2. So if you have version 1 and you install version 2, you're going to see that you still have version 1, and on another page you'll have version 2. Once you're comfortable with having any custom courses or knowing how to use version 2, you can simply go in and uninstall through Windows version 1, and you'll only have the version 2 left in your smokeless range menu. So jumping into the OpenRange 2.0, the first big difference is the Media Manager. So previously, if you wanted to add a custom target or background, you would need to first create the proper files, and then you'd also have to go into something like Photoshop and add in custom zones so that the target knew where you were shooting it, whether it was hit or not. We've simplified that down to what we now call the Media Manager. So let's take a quick look at the Media Manager and see what it offers. So here you can see that we have targets and scoring for targets, backgrounds, we have objects, and we have sound effects. So let's jump in and look at targets. So you see here, we can see a list of all the targets that are loaded, and you can click next and go through the different pages, but we'll just check out this first one here. So right now, if you mouse over it, you can see the different, like if I shoot outside here, it's a miss. This score ring is 1 point, 5 points, and then 10 points in the center. Now I'm going to click on Edit Target so we can see how this stuff really is working. You can see the different zones here as I mouse over them. So basically we just create the zones in this. I can turn them all on so you can see the different zones. So that allows you to go in and create different zones and set the scoring for each of those zones. So that's a great feature. There wasn't scoring in version 1. Also, I'd like to point out that you can see target width and height here. So you can actually set the width and height in inches, and that way it will work properly with our target scaling. Also, you can see here we have the ability to categorize targets. You can click this drop down and you can assign a target to these different categories right here. In another separate video, I will go into how to actually import and zone targets in more detail. But for right now, this is just a general overview. So let's hop out of the target section. Same thing with backgrounds. This is a place where I can add or remove or edit, if needed, any backgrounds. Same thing with objects. We have a few objects in here. These are just non-target objects. And then we can go over here to sound effects, and this is where we can import a new sound. We can preview it. So we have a few different sounds in here, and we'll add some more as time progresses. But you can also add your own through the Media Manager. All right, so we'll hop out of the Media Manager and back into the smokeless range. And now let's jump into the editor. So in the editor, you're going to see a different look. Now the editor needs a desktop resolution of 1366 by 768. And that's the size that most standard laptop screens are. So you should be capable of setting your desktop resolution to that, and that makes sure that you can see the whole screen. If you do it smaller than that resolution, some of this is going to get cut off. But I'm just going to throw that note out there while I'm talking about it right now. So looking at the new editor, it's similar but different. As you can see, we still have categories, and we still have the same commands that we have here. But let's just jump in here and create a new one. And we'll just call this Luke. Whoops. Luke's test. If we wanted to, we could put a description in here. Don't have to. And then I'm going to add a stage. I can double click on this to rename the stage if I wanted to. similar to the version 1. But now let's get into editing the stage, and this is where a lot of the big differences you'll start to see in the editor. So first thing I want to do is add myself a background. So I'm just going to grab one of these backgrounds, and you can see I'm just dragging and dropping it. There, I've got a new background. Well, I don't like that one, so let me try this one. Okay, so you can scroll through here and find a background that matches what you want to do. Now, next thing I want to do, if I want to add a target, is I can scroll through all the targets that we have in here, but now we have this little drop down here. This is where those target categories come in. So I have general for just kind of general targetry, sports targets. So let's leave it on sports targets, and I'm going to throw in IDPA target here. So I'll put one here. Now what's a big difference between 1 and version 2 is that version 2 utilizes the screen parameter settings and the proper scaling of targets by distance. So now we're actually using target scale and distance. So you can see up here I have target distance, but I can still use the scroll wheel on my mouse and visually scale if I want to, but I can also set it to distances directly. So if I wanted this to be at 35 feet, just type in 35 feet, and if I have my screen parameters set, that target will be properly scaled to look the right distance from me on the screen. So I'm just going to set this target out here. Now I just right click on this, and I have some commands here, and I'm just going to edit target, and we're going to leave this as no action, no face sound, no hit sound, 0 show delay, so it's going to start right away. A lot of this is very similar to version 1. A lot of the difference is just in how you can set this up, and some other key differences that make it easier, like the drag and drop, the right clicking, use your mouse scroll wheel in order to zoom the target in and out, those kind of things. So we'll just go back here. Now here's something, let's say I did a bunch of custom settings and I have the distance and I want to use the same size target multiple times. Here's a great feature, duplicate target. It was copied, so now I can drag it over here. But I can also do this. Let's say that I wanted to, let's delete this target. Let's say I wanted to copy some targets and put them in a row horizontally. Then I would duplicate the target. There we go. And now I'm going to hold down Alt on my keyboard, and then I'm going to drag that target to the right. But it's holding, basically that's locking the horizontal position. So now I can slide this one over right here, and then I can duplicate this target. And again, hold down Alt, drag this target over here, and you can see the power of, now I can line targets up without having to really worry about it. But if I did need to, I now have a position, an XY position, so I can make sure that all these targets are at the same height or at the same width along the screen. Another new thing to notice is with version 1, it layered the targets in the order that you added them to the course, but now it's layering the targets according to their distance. So right now they're all at the same distance. They're all at 35 feet. But let's say I draw that closer. You can see how it went across that target. And as I go back and forth, it scales past it. So that's really nice as well when you're setting this up. You can set one target just a little bit further than the other, and it goes behind the other target. And that's very helpful when you're setting up multiple targets that are on top of or close to each other. Okay, so let's jump out of the editor and get into the player and see all the big changes there. Okay, now let's jump into the player. Here you'll notice a big change. Visually and functionally, we really overhauled the user interface for the player to make it a lot more touchscreen and shot navigation friendly. So I've got a touchscreen computer here, so I can go through and touch to choose. There's not any dragging that you have to do or scrolling. It's all shot and touchscreen navigation friendly. Also, I can come over here and choose a filter list. So here again, I've only got show all courses or just the stock courses that come with it. But if you create other categories, they'll show up in this list at that time. So I'm just going to go with my stock courses. Another really powerful thing is that I can now sort the list in other ways. So now let's go through here, and I really like changing gears, and I love the Falling Plate Rack 1, and I really like Angry Peacock. Those are all favorites. I'm also going to do Falling Plate Rack 2. So now, if I have those as my favorites, I can just come over here and click User Favorites, and look what's at the top of my list right here. So that's really nice if you have a key handful of courses that you use in a training course or just on a daily training. You can just make them show up at the top of the list by making them your favorite. Okay, now let's hop over here into the settings and see what else we've added in here. All right, so start tone delay, you have random, disabled, 1 second, 2 second, 3, 4, 5, and then random again. Also new to OpenRange 2 is the Get Ready timer. And so the Get Ready timer has been a big request by a lot of our users, and that's basically a get ready timer. It's an extended delay to starting it. So picture it like if you click the start button, the Get Ready timer is a delay in that start actually happening. So I can go in and set this to, let's say, 5 seconds. That way, if my computer's over off to the side or I'm using my gun to shoot navigate, I can select start, and then it gives me a countdown of Get Ready, the Get Ready timer, of however many seconds I set, and that way it gives me an extended time to get holstered, get set, get ready, and then when that Get Ready timer goes away, it's just like that's when I click start. So that's a really nice feature if you're operating the system by yourself so that you're not in a rush to get ready. Also new is magazine reload. So I can set this to however many shots that I want to set it to, and when I hit that, it's going to indicate me on the screen to reload. So we'll leave that at 5 shots just so I can show you for a demo. Also enable shot markers. That's whether it's going to show the shot marker on the screen or not. And then show AAR after course, the entire course, or after stage. So that's new as well. It used to stop after each stage and show an after action review. Now you can choose to stop after each stage or stop at the end of the course after all the stages are done and then review through your shots. So we're going to leave this at the end of course, close these settings, and I'm just going to run this Coursify demo. Okay, for this demo I'm using the mouse, but I'm going to click on the screen, which would be the same as shooting the screen, and you can see Get Ready. So it's counting down for me. So this is not a shot timer, this is a Get Ready timer. Ready? Now you see, are you ready? Stand by. This way you can get on the line and get ready. There's my start tone. Now, oh, change mag. So you can see it delays slightly, forcing you to do a mag change or giving you the opportunity to do a mag change. All right, so the after action review, big difference here. All right, so it used to be that you had all the targets on the screen through the whole course all on top of each other and no real way to see what was on the screen at any given time. So now you have your shot list off the left here. As you can see, it's designed around touch screen or shot navigation. I'm still using a mouse here just because I'm demoing it for you guys. But as I click through here, you can see how the targets, only the ones that were present during that shot's time, are displayed on the screen. So it's a lot easier to step through when you have a lot of targets possibly on screen. And then you can go through here in time. You can also just click directly on one and it does the same thing. So I can just step through here all the way to the end of the list and back through it again. Now you can also see that I have total score. Didn't have score before in version 1. Now I have total score and I still get my first, last shot, the other pertinent data to see how well I did. And then from here I can click restart to run the same drill again or exit to get back into the course selection screen. So another thing that I'd like to show you is I'm going to jump back into the Coursify demo and I'm going to start it. So previously, if you wanted to end a course early, or if you wanted to pause the course, you couldn't pause the course, but if you wanted to end it early, you just had to hit the escape key. But now you can shoot in the lower corners and access this sub-game menu. So now I have resume. Let's say I paused because I wanted to give some instruction to somebody and I wanted to hit resume to let that Coursify continue on. I can do so there. I can just restart the course if, let's say, somebody wasn't ready or for whatever reason I needed to just jump in and restart it, or I can exit the course. So that menu is accessible by shooting one of the lower corners, the lower quadrants, and we think will be really helpful. Okay, so that's it for this quick demo of showing you the differences between version 1 and version 2 of the OpenRange. We hope you really enjoy this new version. If you have any further questions, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to help.